Following breaking news happening out of central Kentucky, where a sheriff's deputy there was shot and killed this afternoon during a traffic stop. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. Scott County, Kentucky Sheriff Tony Hampton says the shooting happened just before 5 on I-75 near Georgetown, Kentucky, outside Lexington. Kentucky State Police say Deputy Caleb Conley was taken to the hospital where he died. In a news conference this evening, Sheriff Hampton said a suspect was taken into custody in a nearby area. Deputy Conley has been with the sheriff's office for about 4 years and was previously with the U.S. Army. The sheriff says he leaves behind a wife and small children. On Twitter tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear saying in part, "This hero made the ultimate sacrifice and we will be forever grateful." Here at home, the number of fatal and non-fatal shootings continue to soar. Over the weekend, we saw another stunning display of violence across several Louisville neighborhoods. A city office that focuses on safety is expanding its program that's designed to stop the violence before it happens, creating more of what's called interruption sites. WHAS11 night team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Ian Hardwitt learned how they're working along with the Metro Council tonight. And Taylor is joining us live with the story. Taylor?
Well, Doug, tonight the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods attended a budget meeting at Metro Council asking for more funding to collect a data analyst position to collect data on the effectiveness of their interruption sites and programs.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the extreme violence in Louisville didn't stop, with shootings injuring up to 12 people, including a 3-year-old.
You know, we have a period of time right now in our city, unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, we've had several what would be defined as sort of mass shootings where we've had an incident where 4 or more people were shot.
The head of Louisville's Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is one of many trying to stop the violence. Tanika Bacon is with the city's Pivot to Peace program, going into homes at all times of the day, supporting victims of gun violence and their families.
We know why they're angry. We know why they're upset. We know why they're in pain. And we are able to address the trauma that they're going through.
The goal is to interrupt the violence before it happens. The city is now creating what's called interruption sites to exist in the Portland and Shawnee neighborhoods, the scene of some of the weekend violence.
We've now been able to implement 3 additional sites for the Shawnee neighborhood, the Russell community, and also the California Park community.
The Louisville Central Community Center is also a new site in the California neighborhood. In February, they were fully staffed, and in April, trained and ready to go.
We are prepared to respond to incidents of violence as they occur within the confines of the California neighborhood.
They are now asking for more funding for a data analyst position to keep statistics of their programs.
Determining whether those projects are successful, whether they're achieving their desired outcomes, and as I said earlier, how do those desired outcomes independently and collectively contribute to violence reduction.
Council member Anthony Piagentini even encouraging them to have this position on hand for records.
We need to be thinking about getting that data at a macro level so we can pinpoint our future investments.
Now, previously, Ocean facilitated interruption sites in the Portland and Smoketown neighborhoods, and this expansion now means that the city now operates 4 sites in the 9 neighborhoods that comprise of Louisville's West End and 1 in East Downtown. Live at City Hall, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 night team on your side.
Taylor, thank you. Today's announcement comes after a violent weekend here in Louisville. At least 12 people were hurt in the shootings. The youngest victims, just 3 and 5 years old. They happened in neighborhoods across the city: Parkland, Russell, Wyandotte, Portland, PRP, and Park Hill. A total of 5 juveniles were shot, some taken to U of L Hospital and other to Norton Children's. Dr. David Foley says firearms have become the leading cause of death for U.S. children, and many of Norton's gunshot patients suffer unintentional injuries.
And if the injuries are of a type that can be fixed surgically, we're pretty good at fixing them, and we're pretty good at getting them here, and we're pretty good at the EMS part of it. But there are so many of these injuries where the outcome is predetermined.
Many of the weekend shootings are unsolved. If you have information that could help detectives, call them on the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD or submit a tip on their online portal. As the Community Foundation prepares to distribute thousands of dollars of donations to the mass shooting survivors in Louisville, they are hearing from the community about best way to go about it. The organization created 2 funds following 2 mass shootings the same week last month, one at Old National Bank and the other happened at Chickasaw Park. Tonight, they held a town hall focused on guidelines for how the Chickasaw Park Fund will be dispersed. Ramona Dallum with the Community Foundation says it's important for the public to get involved in this process.
I think it has a lot to do with equity and building trust with in our community, that our community realizes that Louisvillians support the survivors of Chickasaw Park.
You're still able to donate to the funds, which will help survivors overcome the physical and mental long-term effects of these shootings.
There are some families who can't go back to work immediately. So how do you pay the bills? How do you make sure that people are fed and clothed? And this is one way for the community to show our care and concern. We can't take the pain away, but maybe this can help towards the healing process.
There will be another town hall tomorrow focused on the fund created for survivors of the Old National Bank mass shooting. It will begin at 6 p.m., also held at the main library branch downtown. The final protocols will be released later this week. Tomorrow, a locally owned pizza chain is raising money for the officer who was shot and badly injured while responding to that shooting at Old National Bank. Officer Nicholas Wilt, who was shot in the head while running up the steps toward the bank, is now at Fraser Rehab as part of his recovery. Throughout the day tomorrow, all Louisville and Southern Indiana Beer Nose restaurants will donate 20% of dine-in, carry-out, and delivery sales directly to Officer Wilt and his family. New tonight, the lawsuit filed by a retired Metro Police Sergeant against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend has been dismissed. Jonathan Mattingly countersued Kenneth Walker in 2020 for assault, battery, and emotional distress. Walker shot Mattingly during the raid on Breonna Taylor's apartment on March 13, 2020. The charges filed against him for that shooting were later dropped. According to court documents, the counterclaims were voluntarily dismissed on Friday. It comes 6 months after Walker's initial lawsuit against the city and several officers was settled for a reported $2 million. The ACLU is asking a judge to step in before a ban on gender-affirming care takes effect in June. Senate Bill 150, passed in Kentucky, has one section that would ban care for young transgender people in Kentucky. But the ACLU wants it to be put on hold while the lawsuit makes its way through the court. The ACLU is legally challenging the law in federal court right now, saying it overreaches and violates the rights of parents to make medical decisions for their children. The Louisville group that wants the John B. Castleman statue restored to its pedestal right in the Cherokee Triangle is making its argument now before a Louisville judge to get it back. While a judge didn't make a decision today, they did give the Landmark Commission 10 days to either put the statue back up or file another certificate to remove it. The city removed the statue in June 2020 during the protests over Breonna Taylor's death. The state Supreme Court recently ruled that former Mayor Greg Fisher improperly removed it because of conflict of interests on the commission. Attorney Steve Porter, representing Friends of Louisville Public Art, says there's no question the Castleman statue should be returned.
By the Supreme Court ruling, the statue should go back because the decision to remove it has been reversed.
A spokesperson for Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg said earlier this month that Metro government has no plans to put the statue back in its original location, nor any interest in doing so.